Do the Minnesota Vikings really have an offensive line problem? Again? Well, it appears they do. And it sucks. Minnesota Vikings got smoked by the Atlanta Falcons on national television Sunday night. Lost by a score of 22-6. They got smoked in every facet of the game. The offense couldn't drive. The defense just got ran all over by Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. And special teams could not get out of their own way, including a muff punt to end the game by preseason sensation Miles Price. When you look at it, it boils down to one thing: the trenches. Defensively, they were okay. They got moved a little too much in the run game, but a lot of the issues with the run game had to do with the second level and tackling more than it was the front four. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, oh boy, things were rough. Justin Skule got the start again at left tackle, and he was a disaster. He was a disaster for the Minnesota Vikings in the first game of the year against the Chicago Bears. He had 4 pressures, and the rest of the line had 1. In this game alone, they had 5 sacks allowed by the end of the first half. And then in the second half, there were multiple sacks, including a strip sack that ended up forcing a turnover back to the Atlanta Falcons. It was just a disaster. Now, Skule ended up getting hurt and was replaced by Walter Rouse, who probably should have been in there to begin with, but we saw why he wasn't. He struggled himself. And kudos to Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, calling a tremendous game. They were ready. They had a lot of unique things to go about their defense in order to create pressure because they don't have the guys like the Vikings do. They can't just rush 4 and expect their dudes to get home regularly. That's not how their team is currently constructed, and they spent high draft capital on Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. to address that. Well, they were able to get home because of these creative blitzes, and they were forcing turnovers and getting sacks. Not only was Skule a problem, Donovan Jackson looked a little closer to the rookie that we knew he was after having a dominant debut in week 1 against the Bears. Ryan Kelly also went out with a concussion, and he did not return, bringing in 2024 7th-round pick Michael Juergens, and there were some issues there, including on that strip sack. It looked like there was a communication breakdown as Brian O'Neill let a guy pass him and kick to the inside, thinking, okay, either McCarthy's supposed to be hot and throw it to Aaron Jones, who completely lets that guy go by, or Jones is supposed to take that guy. Either way, it was a brutal loss for the Vikings, and they could not get out of their own way. Plus, J.J. McCarthy on a 3rd down to Justin Jefferson throws the ball, but his offensive lineman's on his foot. They could not do anything right all game long. They were not creating good enough pockets, and it became an issue. Now, the Vikings spent a lot of resources to fix the interior of that offensive line this offseason. They saw that Blake Brandel, Garrett Bradbury, and Ed Ingram were not good enough, and they replaced all 3. Well, Garrett Bradbury has not allowed a single pressure in 2 games with the New England Patriots as their starting center, and the Vikings cannot get out of their own way to help their young quarterback. Now, he's at fault for some of it. His depth of drop has been an issue, and look, he's a young quarterback. That's what happens, but they need to do something. With Darrisaw still out, why aren't you chipping? Why aren't you helping Skule? Why are you leaving him on the island that you could with Darrisaw? Why aren't you calling some misdirection stuff when you see that the defensive line is slanting incredibly well in the run game and making plays? Call some counters, call some tosses. Do something to help your team, help your young quarterback. They just didn't do enough of that. And it's frustrating because this game was within reach. It was a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter. They got up to 15, and then the Vikings just fell apart. They weren't able to do anything. That's a problem. And they get the Bengals in week 3. Likely without Joe Burrow. The last time they played him, they didn't have Joe Burrow. And guess what? Jake Browning won 27-24. Is it going to be a repeat performance? If the offensive line plays like this, it probably will be. They need to get it fixed and fixed now. I'm Tyler Forness with ATOZ Sports. Skol Vikings.